outfeed table? No, not some new young hip term the kids are using these days to talk about going out to eat. Chris here with Christcross Crafts. Outfeed table is exactly what I've been working on. I've been thinking on it a while, gotten all the designs that I feel like I need for my shop. Have my quick access for my dust collection from a router table fence. Make sure I got plenty of room here for the sliding track, so no hindrance there. This is 28 inches past the table, so it gives me a full 5 feet to the other side of my workbench. So plenty of length and support for longer stock and sheet goods. And as well, it's pretty strong. Obviously, it supports the weight. So, you want to see how I build it? Hold tight, because I got a few other bells and whistles in there you might like that you might could utilize for your shop. So hold tight, check it out, and see how it goes.
So the first thing I do is I grab a sheet of plywood, and this is why I need an outfeed table.
Yep, I hit my workbench. Nope, no amount of body weight's gonna hold it down.
I get that fixed and then move right along, cutting my strips for the support in the frame. Those bolts prevented the ledger board from butting up nice and flush to the saw, so I just simply drilled them out in the proper locations. I wanted that ledger board to fit tight up against the saw so I'd have something to register the rest of the frame off of. So there I'm bolting it on, and on the other side I'll just simply use screws right through the fence into the plywood support table on the right. So I notch out my ledger pieces to fit underneath my workbench properly. You'll see why in a moment. I'm just cutting and fitting all of the cross members and the rest of the stretchers. And there's my frame, all ready for assembly. So I grab my Kreg jig and begin to make a bunch of pocket holes. Really did make quick work of the whole assembly process. Some glues, some brads in places just to hold it for temporarily anyway. A little test fit, and then finish the assembly of the back rail. And so let's give it a little quick test fit before I put the plywood on top. Works good in its normal position. Slide it over for the support position, and then begin to create the grooves for the miter track. So if I'm using a sled or miter gauge, then obviously you don't want that bar catching on your plywood. And final fit and finish. Love that plywood rack. And a little bit of glue ain't even enough. So let's put a lot of glue. Get the big bottle. There you go. So, quick lesson learned. I really thought I could drive these staples up tight. I should have tested that before I did it, because that theory failed. So I'm going to have to go in and drive, and I'm going to improvise. Since these are staples, I'm going to grab an old bit, an old driver, and drive them in with that. Use it like a nail punch. This side, I tested with glues and then countersunk screws just barely below the surface. That's going to work out really well, and so I'm going to do that on the others. I should have done it on this. I did it on the main top. I don't know why I veered from my plan, but that's life, right? So anyway, moving on. So I'll be here driving these. You don't need to watch, so we'll come back later. So after getting that glued and screwed, grabbed my Kreg square cut jig and made short work of the dust port opening.
And I came behind that with a chamfer bit just to make everything nice and clean so there's no high spots. Went all the way around the top as well as where it joined into my workbench. And so I needed to get my top screwed down to the frame. And then I grabbed the grinder, grind off the length of the bolts just a little bit so they're not sticking down so far. Gives it a little more security there. Give it a sand. Hit it with a light 180 grit. I wanted to get rid of some of the scratches and get the top nice and flat. Okay, so I've got the top sealed with the Zinsser Sealcoat. Now I want to kind of buff this out smooth with a little bit of wax, but wax alone is not going to do it. I want to kind of burnish that in. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the non-woven pads and I actually cut it to the shape of a disc. Yeah, I know they make discs like that, but in this case I don't want the rigidity that the Velcro or hook and loop velour adds. So this is going to give me just a nice little cushion. So I'm going to put a little wax on the top, and then I'm going to buff it out with this, and it's going to buff it and burnish it at the same time. So it'll smooth out any slight raises that may have come from putting that sealer on there. So anyway, I want to let you know what I was doing, just so it might make sense. So anyway, here we go. Alright, so I have the table saw, have the outfeed table now. This will lead right to the bench and make things a lot safer, especially for the smaller parts. But anyway, I've got everything smooth. I will add some edging along the side here, but I want to wait because I want to incorporate that into the micro jig dovetail boards that I'm going to make. So that'll come down the line, but for now this is definitely going to work. I have my 3 locking holes here for alignment so that it locks in, as well as it enabled me to bolt 2 of the bolts on either side down so there's no movement there. I've got my access hole easily from a dust collection. So I've got my ledger board here to hold the supports. Got my gaps for the tenons. So how this works is slide this right off, put those tenon boards on the ledger, slide it all the way in, pull it all the way to me, and there it is. It locks in place, easy peasy, slice it cheesy. Dust collection port, put that cap back on, I'm good to go. So here it is. I'm pretty excited. I may come down there and add some legs, so if I do have to move my bench, I still have the outfeed table support. But for now, I'm going to wait and incorporate all of that into the edging that I'm going to be building a clamping system here. But as far as the outfeed, there we go. Super excited. All I like to do is lock it down on each end with these wing knobs. I'm good to go. So this is Chris with Christcross Crafts, my outfeed table.